and we'll see what happens. All right, if you're catching us on the replay, this is a simple 20-second lead-in just to make sure that those who have been patiently waiting for us live don't catch us mid-sentence, or if they do, they catch us saying something like, it's Thursday night, it's 7 p.m., it's time for the Carrguy and Sixfan show. I'm your host this week. I'm Grant Tommy. That makes me Sixfan of this operation, and this gentleman over here.
I am Jason, and I am the Carrguy of the Carrguy and Sixfan show, and we're really happy to have a longtime viewer and longtime participator of the Carrguy and Sixfan show with us tonight, because if we went clear back to almost 3 seasons ago when we had the online car show where people submitted your rides, and Curtis was here with his vehicles, so we showed a lot of that stuff. So Curtis, why don't you go and introduce yourself to those who maybe have just crawled out from under a rock and don't know who you are.
Sure. Stuff with Cleatus is the channel name, and most people don't even know my real name there, Jason. That's cool. No, that's okay. Curtis is my name. I've been doing YouTube since 2009, but I hadn't really got into it fully until 2019. So I do auto, I buy cars, sell them, work on things. I try to do some how-to, but it's very basic how-to stuff. And then, trying to do some more collaborations this year.
Well, I think your story, Curtis or Cleatus, we'll go whichever one you want. We probably should have covered that backstage instead of doing this announcement to everybody. But I think your story is probably common to people our age. I mean, whatever point in time it was when YouTube, made you register just to be able to comment. I think we all are like, okay, well then I will register. I will become, I will have a nickname and all that stuff. And then, there's this big gap, and then you decide to put content out there. So what was it that ultimately got you, from 2009 to that point to start making content? What is it that kind of made you get off the couch and start putting content up on YouTube?
Well, I've had some content out before, and before, I think it was 2014, you had to have 10,000 views, and then after that, you could start getting paid. So I was getting paid off of a couple of videos, and I wouldn't even do anything. It wasn't much. It was like every 2 months, it's probably every 3 or 4 months it would cash out to, finally get to 100, and they'd send me money. I expect they send you checks as well. But after it changed, really, is when I started like, well, I don't want to miss out on that money. Let me go ahead and start trying to get this 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. So that was really a tipping point where I started getting serious about YouTube, and hadn't looked back since. It's been fun.
Well, and I think that's what happens with a lot of people is we end up just kind of doing it for fun, and we realize the potential of what it is that we have. Before we jump into the show any further, I do want to wish everybody who's watching a happy St. Patrick's Day. For those of you who follow that sort of thing, happy St. Patrick's Day. Have a beer on us. We do want to jump over to the chat real quick and make sure we make a few notables of the few people who are here. I'm sure they're all out celebrating. But we've got Will's Wheels, 815 LSX Swaps. Junker Clunkers is also in the house. 113 Cycles, 2 Hacks Garage, Haggard Hot Rods. Guys, thanks for joining in on the St. Patrick's Day. One of the things that I wanted to talk a little bit about, and we did talk about this backstage, I said that's going to be a great conversation, is the fact that here we are talking to Stuff with Cleatus, and the name Cleatus is very popular on YouTube right now as far as the automotive world goes. But you've had that name for a long time. Tell us a little bit about how that came about.
Sure. We were just talking about how YouTube made you come up with an account and a name to watch videos at some point, and that's pretty much how it had to go on there. One of my names in the military nicknames was Cleatus because I'm from Arkansas, and Curtis is kind of close to Cleatus, so they called me Cleatus. And took that name and I wanted to just put whatever on YouTube. I wasn't going to be strictly automotive or first or strictly anything. So I just wanted Stuff with Cleatus. Just whatever I'm doing, I'll put up something.
Awkward silence. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Well, and I was going to touch, Cleatus McFarland is huge on YouTube. Like, he's everywhere. Everybody's talking about him. He's huge. That was before he started, before he got on YouTube. And I kind of remember when he started YouTube, he and I would go back and forth talking, little jokes about, hey, cool name and all. It's just jokes. But yeah, he is blown up. He is probably one of the biggest automotive YouTubers, at least top 10. One of the biggest automotive YouTubers there.
Another thing too that I wanted to touch on briefly is the fact that part of this whole automotive community that has been kind of created, there seems to be a group of us that have kind of, family together, so to speak. And, you've kind of been a part of that as well. There's been a little group of your own that you've kind of done. Tell us a little bit about kind of your own group. I guess you could kind of fill us in a little bit about what you guys do.
Well, there is the automotive group as a whole, and then it breaks down, and then there's different automotive groups in there. There's Mopar guys, the Mustang guys, so on and so on. And then there's us guys that are in the group that I am. It's not that we don't let other people in or anything. It's just we happen to have the same interest, working on crap cars or whatever. In fact, I'm sure we'll talk about it in the show, but we're doing the LS swap into the Volvo, which is a kind of a crappy car, but it's all in fun, and it's just normal guys trying to hang out. And especially during COVID, that's when we really got to doing these live streams and just hanging out and watching each other's videos, doing videos, talking about each other, and just became a community. So.
Well, and to kind of build off of that, you talked about all the live streams you were doing, and I know there's been spinoffs of spinoffs, right? And you guys kind of like take turns, kind of take it each day a week. And so like Junker Clunkers, 815 LSX swaps in the chat are some of those names, and Monster Rust, who we had on last season. Sure. I guess I just wanted to take the chance to, if the people viewing this episode enjoy your time here at the Carrguy and Sixfan show, make sure you're subscribed to People Like Stuff with Cleatus for Junker Clunkers, 815 LSX swaps, so you can kind of keep the ball rolling and keep the fun going almost every day of the week. But what would you say that your number one, what is the goal you're usually trying to accomplish when you guys do go live each week?
At first I kind of had a structured show, and it was kind of structured off you guys' show because you guys were doing great and kind of leading the way, especially in the automotive community. And I got away from that. Even Jason, he was on my show at one point. But we got away from that, and just started hanging out, doing garage talk. That's really all the goal is, just hang out, relax, and talk about automotive stuff. Let's break away from the things that you don't want to talk about, or the things, work that just the same thing every day, and let's just talk about stupid car builds or memes or whatever we're going to talk about that day.
So your channel basically focuses on a lot of different projects that you work on, but I think a lot of them stem from what you do for a living, do they not?
Sure, they do.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So you're a used car dealer. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about what you do daily as your job, what pays the bills, and how that kind of ties into Stuff with Cleatus.
Sure. Yeah. I started a car dealership in 2020, the beginning of 2020, the best time there was to start one. And that's what I've been doing. It's buying cars, repairing them, cleaning them, whatever it takes to sell them. And the story, or my story, is just, going to the auctions, buying the car, finding out this is not a good buy, or hey, this is a pretty good buy, or this is how to fix this, or this is what I'm doing anyway. And that's kind of what I do every day. Is just, especially right now, cars are so high. I'm buying older cars, so I'm getting to work on older cars on the channel and stuff, and that's always fun.
Yeah, and so I think Jason will probably appreciate this question a little bit, because I know from watching his channel for over the years, he kept stumbling upon, I don't remember what it exactly was, a Kia or something, or Hyundai or whatever. So what in Arkansas, where you're at, what kind of vehicles do you feel like you stumble upon most often in this quest for more inventory?
Well, really, I could find anything. I don't buy German vehicles because there's no support here for it. The Volvo dealership, it's just not Volvo, excuse me. There's no Volvos here, but the Volkswagen dealership here is terrible, and there's multiple, so I'm not going to point anybody out, but there just is no support really. I try to buy, the things that everybody wants, the Toyota Corollas, Honda Civics, small SUVs, trucks. But the thing I try to go for in Arkansas is trucks, because everybody here wants a truck. A small truck, medium truck, big truck, everybody wants a truck.
Well, and I think to some degree, I mean, trucks are hot tickets right now. Like they are super hot no matter where you are. In fact, anytime I take a newer truck in on trade, I don't keep it. I know that I can give a fair trade-in value to my customer. I can sell it on the auction, make $2,000 or $3,000, and I know it's going stateside anyway. Right? A lot of these Ontario and Quebec dealers are buying them from the East Coast, and they're bringing them back. They're going to mark them up a couple $1,000 themselves, send them to the States, and those guys are going to refurbish them and sell them down there. Trucks are a hot commodity right now, and it's one of the big reasons why I don't specifically go out looking for them, because, well, they're just so expensive. Yeah. One thing I do want to touch base a little bit on is becoming a dealer. I know here in Canada, or at least in New Brunswick where I am, there's a little bit of a rigmarole to become a dealer as far as licenses, insurances, garage inspections, stuff like that. So what is it that you've got to do in Arkansas to become a car dealer?
It's really simple here. You pretty much have to give them their money. It's not bad. It's $250 for the fee, the license fee. You have to have insurance. You have to have it's another kind of insurance. They call it a bond. You have to have a security bond.
Yeah, same here.
And then you have to have a building that's not attached to your house. And that's really and a sign you can see from the road. And that's really the only requirements. Besides that, anything you do above that is, extra. Oh, you have to have a locking file cabinet. And there's a couple, it's very, very small stuff. It's so easy. If you have $1,000, you could be a dealer in Arkansas.
Wow.
Some of that's, it's refreshing that we can be in 2022 and things don't have to be super complicated and full of red tape. So that's actually kind of fun to hear. Curtis, I think we can spend a ton of time talking about this Volvo build, and I do believe we will end up doing that. But before we get there, I wanted to go back to when we were talking about community and then kind of the subdivisions of each community. And you guys have affectionately named yourself, I think, the Trash Content Crew or something. Who came up with that?
We did name ourselves, but we didn't. So I was trying to be funny, trying to make a light video. I had a junk car that I bought. I took it on trade, actually. It was a 2005 or 4, something like that. Ford Escape. And I heard that the new Maverick truck coming out, which is out now, wasn't then, was going to be based on the Escape platform. I'm like, well, this is going to the junkyard. Let's cut the back off of it and call it a Maverick. And that's what we did. And probably the first, maybe second comment that was on there was, no wonder why you only have this many subs. I think at the time was like right at 1,000 or just over 1,000, because your content is trash. And so we kind of ran with that and became the Trash Content Crew as a joke. And we just been doing things since then. We're going to, not to go too much in the future, but we're going to be doing some events together as a group. And of course, it doesn't have to be just us. Anybody's invited, but we're going to do the No Name Nationals, which I don't know if you guys know anything about that. We're going to have a little area set up. We're going to call it the Trash Content Crew Compound. So there's just going to be some little tents and stuff set up, but it'll be fun.
It'll help if I take my microphone off mute.
I do that
every damn show. I was going to say that it's fun and it's quite interesting that, we can take a hater's comment and build on it to the point where, you know what? Thank you for being a troll. Thank you for taking the time out of your ever so busy schedule from your mom's basement and making a comment that says something that actually makes sense. And you guys ran with it. And I think that's really cool.
Well, and he actually took it down. Nobody was being mean to him or anything, but my first answer to him was, thank you. Please subscribe for more trash content. And that we really ran with it, and he of course took it down and hadn't been back since. But it's great.
That's going to have to be I'm going to have to set that up in my YouTube Creator Studio as a quick
auto response.
Auto response. Yeah, like thank you for more trash content, please. And by the way, I'm stealing
that. Go for it. You're part of it. Anybody want, it's just, normal guys, not with big production studios, making videos on YouTube. And some people think it's trash and some people think it's good. So,
well, and that's just it. If you're not playing with what you're doing, if you're not making light, you're not having fun, you just never know when that one video, whether it's trash or not, is just going to hit that algorithm and take off. You know what I mean? Like, I tried blowing up cars a couple of times there, and I thought those were gold. I thought, you know what? This is YouTube gold. We're going to make cars blow up, and people are going to flock to the channel, and my channel is just going to go boom. No, it didn't happen.
I thought when you ran that Kia over the top of that other car, pretty much, I thought that was a great video, and it did. I mean, it did well, but I thought it was going to blow up, and it just
that was a mistake. But that it worked out.
That was funny.
So I want to go back to what you said earlier. You said, I started a used car dealer in 2020. Of course, pick the worst time in the world to start. Of course, when you started, it probably wasn't, the height of
when I first started. Right. It was something that was still overseas. We weren't even thinking.
Yeah. So just to go back to when I started my car dealership, it was at the recession of 2008. So, nobody's got any money. Let's go out and spend all of our money and start a used car dealership and build an inventory. Yeah, that's exactly how it works. Let's talk a little bit about your YouTube channel as far as growth goes. Now, you've been growing pretty steadily, and I know there's a couple of other guys who are still trying to, hit that race or hit that milestone for 1,000 subscribers. I think it was 815. He's getting close. And him and
Wasted Talent Fabrications.
Wasted Talent.
Part of that. And there's one more. It's
Patina Pit Stop.
Patina Pit Stop. Casey.
I forgot his name there. Yep.
Yeah. So, and we had Casey on earlier in this season. So I think the idea of communities coming together to help other channels grow is awesome. And I appreciate the fact that you guys are kind of doing that, maybe without even knowing what you're doing, but you're doing it. You're letting these guys know that when new customers or new viewers come into your live streams.
Well, we definitely know that we're doing that. And we're not one of the groups that are sub for sub. We're not saying, go sub to this guy, just watch his stuff. We also get feedback. Say, hey, that video was great, or hey, that really was trash, or, we're not mean, but, hey, this is how we can improve, or this has worked well for me, or whatever. We also do that in the community. We don't just watch each other's stuff to build each other up. We also help, make better videos, because that's really the only way you're going to be successful on YouTube is to have videos and make good ones.
And having said that, I think I'm looking through the chat here now, and I see all the regular guys' names in there. Monster Russ, hey, welcome. For a lot of these guys, Classic Ride Society, hey, welcome back to the channel. I haven't seen your name in the chat for a long time, but if you don't know who Stuff with Cleatus is and you're here tonight watching this live, or you're watching this after the fact, make sure you go check out Stuff with Cleatus's channel, because it is what we're doing as the Carrguy and Sixfan show. We're trying to let people know that some of these guys are out there. If they're smaller channels, we want you to go over, check them out. We're not telling you to subscribe to them. We're telling you to check them out, because if it's not up your alley, well, that's one thing. But if you see something you like, you just may want to hit that subscribe button and become a part of their community by commenting on their videos, liking their videos, sharing them out with your friends, because that's exactly how YouTube works. That's what we're trying to do. We want to make sure people know who other people are.
Yeah, I think the number one piece of advice I always give to people is like, go to the channel, thumb through the content, and click on the thing that looks interesting to you. Don't just click on the first one. Just go find something that you think might be, and give them a shot. Give them, a partial view never hurt nobody.
Give them the best shot you can give them. Don't just see the last video they put out, because it may not be what you want to watch, but they may do other stuff you like. So.
Yeah.
That's great advice. Yeah.
Well, speaking of, future growth opportunities, and I know Jason and I talk about this. I mean, it is what the Carrguy and Sixfan show is supposed to be about. It's a collaboration, for instance, but I know you've got a big collaboration coming up. We've talked about it. We've danced around it a little bit, but this Volvo build, how did this come about? Like, whose big idea was this, and exactly how many other YouTubers are involved in this upcoming operation?
I can tell you how many are involved right now. It's been up and down. So it's, because it's been since November. we actually started talking about this. Dudes with Wrenches on his channel. It was actually on one of my live streams. He had all the pictures of his projects that he has and was trying to decide what was the next project to do on his channel. So we took all the projects, had the names of what it was, the year of it, and what it needed and what it could be. And the chat, we went through every one of them with chat and the panel, the group on the panel there. And Wasted Talent and myself, we liked the Volvo wagon. Nobody else really did at that time. We were like, yeah, put an LS in that Volvo wagon. And nobody else was like, no, we don't want that. And I think they ended up picking, it was super sweet, like a 67 Suburban or something. It was awesome, don't get me wrong. But nobody picked the Volvo. So we were kind of joking around after that and a couple of live streams or whatever. And everybody said, hey, sorry, it's a 1996 Volvo 960 wagon, estate. But we were joking around and said, why don't we build this as a group? Why don't we make the trash content crew and get together and build this wagon? And it kind of went from there. It started out, it was going to be in Iowa on CP the Tool Addict. It was supposed to be at his place or his buddy's place. Something crazy happened. His buddy getting divorced or something crazy last month. So early as last month, or late as last month, it changed. And then it was going to be in northern Arkansas, and Narks couldn't do it, couldn't work it out with his work schedule. So then it came here to central Arkansas. And now everybody's coming here. You got Wasted Talent Fabrications. He's retiring, and that's why the time frame is what it is, because he retires. And then he has to drive to Oregon from New Orleans. So New Orleans is his duty station in the Navy. And he's going to drive all the way up. And on his way up, he's going to stop by Central Arkansas. We're going to do this build, and he's going to drive home. Dudes with Wrenches is coming down from Iowa. He's bringing the car. 113, we're doing it at his shop, his brand new shop he just built. You got 815 LSX swaps. He is coming over. You got Mongrel's Garage coming from Canada. Bubba Ayers has been a great supporter. He actually put some money towards this as well. So he is a sponsor. He's not going to be able to make the build, I don't believe, but great sponsor, great help, because it's not cheap. Even though we're doing a budget build, it's still not cheap. Let's see, since it's going to be in Arkansas, there's another Arkansas channel called Just Mopar Joe. I don't know if you guys have heard of him yet. Great channel. He's going to be coming over. Big Block 402. And I think that's it. Am I missing anybody, guys?
I'm sure they'll let you know in the comments.
I hope I'm not. Sorry, guys. I think that was everybody that's directly involved still. Monster Rust may or may not make it. I know he's been crazy busy. We were talking about that earlier before the show that we hadn't seen as much of him, but it's because he's been busy. So hopefully we get to see some more videos out of him. So yeah, maybe Monster Rust. Yeah.
Well, I was, on April 1st, new border rules are taking up where you don't have to test to come back into Canada. That was the biggest reason why it's been so hard to get to the U.S. for me. And we've got family that lives just 5 miles away in the U.S. Because we're right on the border. So April 1st, those testing rules go away. So the freedom of travel seems to be a little bit more, free. I wish I was closer. I mean, obviously Arkansas is quite a distance from us.
Sure.
But then again, everything is quite a distance from where I live in Canada, because we're way over on the East Coast and we're way up north, right? So I wish I was more centrally located, because I think that would be a great, awesome collaboration with so many different channels to be able to get down and build something together. And so I guess, what's the plan as far as time frame? Is this something you're trying to do like over the course of a weekend or a week, or
so
what?
It's going to be, we're going to all get here, or everybody else is going to get here. The plan is to have them here on a Sunday, which is the 10th of April. We're going to start the actual build on 11 April, which is a Monday. And my goal was to have it done in 3 days, but they're saying that's not going to happen. So we're going to try to have it done that Saturday for a car show. So we're going to drive to Little Rock, which is 30 minutes from here, 30 miles, 30 minutes, something like that. We'll drive there, do the car show, and then drive back here. And then on Sunday, we're going to get up and we're going to go to Northwest Arkansas, where Narcs Electric Customs is, and visit with him and do some more collab, just talking really up there with that car. So we're going to try to roadkill style it. You know, the original plan was to drive it from Iowa back to Arkansas. But like I said, that fell through. So now it's going to be Central Arkansas. So we come up with going up and seeing Narcs.
That's awesome. I mean, it reminds me a lot of a channel I've been following for a long time, Village Customs. They do what they call Bernie Fest, where they like get, it's like a 3-day bender of building the rat rod. And so it's kind of same principle. So you might reach out to him for any word of advice, because I know the one thing that they always run out of is basically CO2 tanks for welding.
Okay.
So, but the other thing that's that I wanted to ask is, you know, for us who might not be able to make it, is there a way you guys have like an open door for contributions? You know, you were saying it's a budget build, but anyway, we can help.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. On all the live streams I do, there's a link where you could either buy parts that we need on Amazon, which there isn't too many left now. I think I bought almost everything. But we also got where you can donate to PayPal, Cash App, and then, you know, straight through YouTube on the live or whatever is going on. But we're going to be doing live streams the whole time on the different channels respectively. And then also we'll break it all down and everybody will have their videos they've taken, or whoever's not working will be taking videos for other people as well. So it's going to be spread throughout everybody. As far as if they wanted to help the live streams or PayPal or Cash App, that's the best way.
Sorry, I'm hearing noises over here, and my garage is dark, and it's a little bit creepy. So I guess one thing that we can do, maybe Grant, if Cleatus wants to send you those links to PayPal, Cash App, and all that stuff, maybe we can put it in the link of this video after the fact. And if there's somebody out there you're feeling generous and that big tax return's coming back, and you want to help build a really cool trash ride, then make sure you consider donating to that cause. I think it's going to be a fun build.
All donations are welcome, and we will definitely give you a shout out. Put your name out there, whatever y'all would like. So we all help.
So one of the things I guess we usually like to talk about when it comes to having our guests on, especially those who are YouTubers, is we like to ask you, what is one thing that you have found to be a success, or something that has made you feel like you've succeeded with YouTube, that you could share with somebody who's trying to, a newcomer who's getting into the YouTube? Like, what advice would you give them that has worked for you? Sure.
My YouTube is not successful by any means. I mean, it's just for fun. But if somebody was really trying to be successful, I would say find your niche. Find whatever your niche or whatever. Find what is not only that you like to do, but what other people will watch. But also have fun with it. Especially if you find something you like to do, find other people that do it and hang out with them, talk to them, message them, get on Instagram with them, and be a part of a community that can all help each other.
I think that's one of the things that I personally am struggling with right now. It's just, I find myself like, I don't even know how much YouTube I actually consume anymore. It's like when you start trying to figure out how much time you're even going to devote to producing this stuff. Well, man, I want to keep the community alive that I've built over time, but man, I just reflect on my
Sure.
Monday through Friday, and it's like I hardly watch anything.
Right, YouTube's not your job, so it's a hobby or a passion for you. It's not, you're not able to pay your bills with it. I understand. Everybody understand that. Nobody, that's fine. But just doing this right here, going on live streams and having your own live stream, or just popping in every once in a while on other people's, saying, hey, or watching one of their videos here and there. It's all what you can do. Nobody expects anything out of you, so it's perfect.
Here I am with that dead silence again, my soul. The editor will get this after the fact, so don't worry about that.
Nice.
That is one thing that we always try to encourage people to, is just that. Get out and find something that you're passionate about, and there's somebody out there that wants to see it. So have fun, do what you're doing, and like you said, find a community. Whether it's cars or woodworking or metalworking, whatever it happens to be, cooking, exactly, yeah. Find a group of guys or gals that's doing the same thing that you're doing and enjoying it, because you'll feed off of each other, right? Just like this collaboration that you're doing. There's a bunch of like-minded fellas getting together to do something that's of common interest. And who's going to benefit from that? We all are.
Oh, for sure.
We all are.
People that are directly involved and people who are indirectly involved. I think the whole community will, because, just like I'm on your channel right now, right? There will be other people's lives, and the car is going to be traveling, and everybody's going to get to say, hey, I know this car, or I know this build series. I'm hoping it's big for everybody, but we'll see what happens.
So I know the Volvo is destined for a 6-liter, but as you talk about the build as a whole, what all else are we to expect of this build? Is it simply just Mo power, or are we doing some suspension or any other upgrades?
At first, as a group, in the 3 to 5 days that we're shooting for, it's going to be getting that 6.0 LS. We're going to take care of freshening out before it'll be ready to stick in, and then also a 2-wheel drive 4L80E GM transmission. We're going to get that in. We have to get the drive line made. We have new tires for it. We got some wheels sitting over there that may or may not go on it later, off a Ford Windstar. So we're going to do things later on. Like I might fix the paint. I might repaint it, or just fix the paint that's on there. I'm going to bag it. It's going to be on airbags, which are since it's a unibody, it's not going to lay frame or anything. It's going to have the shock airbags, but it will go up and down pretty nice. It's going to be a nice car, but it's going to look like a sleeper. And most of that will be later on. I'll put some stereo system stuff in it, and just make it a nice, enjoyable ride.
So guys, at this point in the show, we want to make sure we encourage you to ask a question of Cleatus, something that you just don't know about him, something that you don't know about his channel. Keep it clean is all we ask. We don't want to know any dirty details, but we're going to open it up for questions from the chat. So make sure you get your questions in, because by the time we get ready to close out the show, we'll be getting to those questions and trying to make sure that we have them all. So think of a good one, and we'll ask him a little bit later on. One thing that I do want to know is, besides the Volvo getting the LS swap, what is something that's coming up in the future for stuff with Cleatus on your channel that you might be willing to share a sneak peek on?
Okay. Wow. Besides the collaborations there, we're going to be traveling with the Volvo afterward. We plan to do Hot Rod Power Tour. With fuel prices, if they stay the way they are, we might only do 1 day of it instead of the whole tour. We have the No Name National event that's just for automotive YouTubers to participate in, not to watch. My next project, if I have an El Camino right now that some reason I just can't sell it. I thought $4,000 was not too high of a price. It's a nice car. If it doesn't sell soon, I'm just that'll be an LS swap as well, and then we'll try to sell it after that, or who knows what we'll do after that. But I have a 79 F-150 that we've been working on. Some videos will start coming out on it soon. It's a nice Arkansas truck, no rust or anything. Been kind of, I'm not going to say restoring it, but getting it pretty nice there from what it was. It's set for 11 years before I got it. So just things like that. We'll probably do some more auctions, maybe some more Copart buys. Nothing really planned yet, except for the 79 F-150. So.
Well, this is usually the part of the show where we go around the horn to figure out what's coming up on everybody's channel. But Curtis, since you mentioned No Name Nationals, I think I want to give you a minute to kind of promote that a little bit. I know that's kind of the brainchild of, is it John Wilburn? And I don't forget the other channel, but take us through, for those who may be hearing No Name Nationals for the first time. What is it? When is it? Where is it?
Well, and people will hear me, if they follow me, they'll hear me talking about it all the time. I'm not involved in this this thing here. The only thing I'm involved with is it's YouTube Automotive, and for the YouTube Automotive community, if I see something like that, I'm going to try to run with it. Just like when Jason was, trying to grow his channel 10K, everybody wants to jump in and help push it. It's going to be the same thing with No Name Nationals. I'm going to be there. The Trash Content Crew, there's going to be a group of us there for that. The Volvo is going to be there. So what it is that they're doing a drag race. They're doing like some kind of Coleman mini bike race thing. They're doing a burnout competition. They're doing a show, and then it's just hanging out besides that. And that's kind of what I'm going to be there for. I'm not racing or anything. I think one of the Trash Content Crew are going to drive the Volvo and see what it does, but I'm not doing that.
So Grant, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's for automotive YouTubers. You have to have at least 500 subscribers, and then of course pay I think it's $75, but that includes all the events I just mentioned and your ticket to get in. It's $15 for spectators, or no, it's 20. It's 15 and then 20 at the gate is what it is. So there it is.
And again, I wish I was close enough to be able to just, even if it was 6 hours away, like it would be just half a day's drive to go down, but no.
Well, Mongrels is coming down for the LS build, though I don't think he'll make No Name Nationals, but he's definitely traveling the furthest out of anybody. He's going to drive. He's driving down too.
So Grant, what's coming up on Straight Sixfan that you might want to share with the crowd?
So it was supposed to be more Rat Rod Radio Flyer steering upgrade, but I'm kind of in like a crossroads of, I know what I need to do and what I want to do, but I don't have the actual tools to do it. So I'm trying to find like a machine shop to help fill that void. But in the meantime, I think what you'll see next Wednesday is going to be probably the start, like the design episode, you might say, of a bumper build for my Tacoma. So Jason, what's coming up on Old Carrguy?
Well, we've got very few episodes left or content left on the Dodge Monaco, but one of the last things that we have to put on that thing is a power steering pump. So the next video is going to be rebuilding the pump, getting it back on the car, and sending it basically down the road. The next stop after the power steering is a complete new exhaust. So Tom's going to be looking after that with a local exhaust shop, and we'll try and get some content on that for you. This Sunday is going to be my first big recording day with Get Out and Drive podcast. We're doing 3 interviews on Sunday, and so that should buy us time to give us a few weeks of relief or reprieve before we have to kind of jump in it and do it again. So if you guys aren't following Get Out and Drive podcast, please make sure you head over there and do that as well. I think
speaking of that, I mean, now's as good a time to let the viewers know that there's a kind of a partnership involved with the Get Out and Drive podcast. So Carrguy and Sixfan show is a supporting role to that, and they're a supporting role to us. So you might see a slightly name change, or maybe a powered by, or something of that nature coming down the pike. But you'll know it when you see it, I guess. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah, we don't know exactly how it's going to come out or how it's going to look or sound or whatever, but nevertheless, because of my relationship now with the Get Out and Drive, we're still going to be doing the Carrguy and Sixfan show, and with that kind of a collaboration or sponsorship or whatever you want to call it, we're going to be promoting each other. So that'll be big for both of us to be able to send some of our crew that direction, and vice versa. When we're over there, we're going to be sending crew, people who listen to that podcast, back over here.
That'll be another link we'll leave down in the description below, how to get to Get Out and Drive podcast. But we did have a number of questions roll in from the chat. So, Curtis, if you're ready, we'll
go for it.
Hit you with the first one in 113 cycles. Wanted to know, is the Volvo going to have AC?
See, he's joking there because everybody keeps telling me, you don't need AC. We don't have time for AC. It's going to have AC. I've already bought all the parts. It's going to happen.
And Monster Russ wants to know, what's a video that you're proud of that suggests a checkout? Like what's one particular video that might stand out for you?
Really just, I don't know. I do so many different things. So I do everything from cooking on the channel to going to car auctions, working on my daughter's first car with her, soon my son with his first car. And, or just working on cars or trying to collab with people or lives all together. So I don't know. Whatever you're most into, I probably do it.
Jason, you're gonna have to correct my pronunciation. Is it Roke, Rock, Roche, Rock? Okay, all right. Well, he's asking Cleatus, are you trying to grow your beard out as long as Jason?
So that's kind of funny. So in November, well, no, it was December. I said, you know what? I'm so serious about this build because at that time it was still kind of in the air. I'm like, I'm going to do this build, and I'm not going to shave until then. So I've, shaved right here because I can't stand it go on my lip. But I haven't shaved this since December. This is probably the longest beard I've had. And April 11th, this will be coming off. I can't stand it this long. It's not for me.
Jason, this one's not for Cleatus, but just wanted to throw that up there. And yeah, I think we'd be open to it. Package deal or individual. I know the one time we tried to do a package appearance, then I had a work event and left Jason all alone. So, just reach out to us. I think Instagram direct messages usually works best for both of us. So feel free. Yeah, if we can work something out for sure. We'd be happy to join.
Pretty good to be on. That's a great podcast right there. So,
yeah, I'd be game for that. I need all the practice I can get. Just scrolling through and seeing if there's any other questions in there, and I don't think I'm scrolling through to see anything. So I guess we'll just kind of talk a little bit more about. Let's talk a little bit more about this Volvo. Like, I can't get that out of my mind.
Well, I've been talking about it since November. I'm telling you, and then I don't know what I'm going to talk about after we build it. I mean, I guess just building more onto it. I hope nobody gets tired of it, because people have put an LS in a Volvo before. They have, but I don't think there's anybody who's had this many channels, automotive channels, come together and do this within 3 to 5 days. That have never actually met it. Well, a few of us have met each other in actual life, but most of us just been on the internet. So we're all coming together and doing it within 3 to 5 days. A full LS swap on something that's not supposed to have LS in it. So it's been done before, LS and Volvo, but this has not been done before, and that's going to be the experience is going to be the big part of it, not just the Volvo with LS. So
because of all the channels being involved, as you mentioned, I think that's where you shouldn't correct the paint on it, and you should get like a custom vinyl graphic of all their, or do some Sharpie graffiti on the hood or something.
We talked about that before and everything. We are creating something so when it's at a car show or an event or whatever, we will be able to pull out some kind of board or maybe under the hood or something that has all the channels involved, who helped build it and what's going on and all that. As far as putting it on the car, we want to keep it a sleeper. We want it to look, it's going to look like a Volvo wagon. It'll be surprising to people. I know Wasted really wants us, Wasted Talent Fabrications. He doesn't want AC on there because I don't know why, but he does want turbos on there. And I'm like, we'll see. Not right now.
Well, that's all part of the part of the workaround. And when it comes to trying to get an LS into something that never should have had, is let's focus on getting the engine in there, the transmission, the drivetrain. Let's get it running first.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the same goal that I've set for the Yugo is let's get the engine in there first. Let's get it in, buttoned down, so that it's turnkey. Everything runs the way it's supposed to. Then you can start tweaking on things like air conditioning, right? You can start tweaking on things like turbos.
It's pretty hot down here. We need air conditioning.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not like Canada. I mean, you're not going to be driving that thing into a snowbank by no means.
Right. For sure not.
But we still have the heat up here and the humidity. It's, that's one of the reasons why I bought Dale the truck, was because I wanted something like a cruise in that had air. When you're out on those hot days, you don't get out at the next stop and you're just a sweaty, dripping mess, right? So you got to have one true, luxury hot rod.
And the main goal for it, you sound like Wasted there, talking about getting the main goal is to get the engine and transmission in there driving down the road. I can do the AC later. I can do, if we do turbos, it'll already be set up. It's going to run E85. We already bought everything to make it run E85. So it wouldn't be too hard at all to go ahead and put turbos on it later. And the harness we have is a Holley Terminator kit harness with all the computers and all that. So if we want to do any upgrades later, it wouldn't be anything. We're prepping for that already because we know that it's going to keep doing stuff. I don't plan to sell this car. I sell everything. I sell every car I have. I sell it. I don't plan to sell this car. If somebody come up and offer me, stupid amount of money, I'm going to sell it. But it would have to be quite a bit. So,
well, I can tell you're getting older because you're throwing a lot of power at the car, but you're putting it in a very, very safe car. Volvo, of course, known for their safety. So
I don't think that was the main goal, and maybe it was in the back of my mind or something. I've just always been a fan of wagons. My first car I ever fell in love with was a Chevy Nomad. So ever since then, I've always loved wagons. That's a big thing for me.
Well, and let's face it, you talked about, everything's for sale. Let's face it, not everyone's out there looking for a Volvo wagon with an LS. I mean,
sure.
Right?
And it is the 960 estate. No,
sorry.
There actually isn't that many 960s that have been swapped. Usually
I
it's
stand
the
corrected.
240 or the 740, but yeah, no, I don't think there's that many people out there looking for it for sure.
Well, I think it's a great idea. I think the fact that you've got a car that, again, it's just, yes, here we are talking about LS swapping anything, and some people are so against it. But like, if you do the math, if you do the hot rod math tells you there's no cheaper way to get great horsepower and reliability into anything. Sure. And if you're willing to make it happen by the fabrication and sweat equity, then you're going to have yourself a pretty fun car to drive with not a lot of expense.
Well, what's great about the 960 version of the Volvo is it's way overbuilt. So we're getting to keep the radiator. We're getting to keep the rear end, the independent suspension and everything on the rear. We're getting to keep all that because it's well overbuilt. Even with the added horsepower and stuff, it won't hurt it. So.
And then now that you've made the bold claim, I can see the thumbnail now. We fragged a half shaft on the Volvo 960, or something very dramatic.
Maybe so. And I'm not saying that can't happen, but it's not supposed to happen on it. You know what I'm saying? It's I think, and I may be wrong. I'm sure the internet will correct me. I think it was made by Ford them years, or with collaboration with Ford them years. So.
Well, and one thing about
Volvos, like a Ford 9-inch, but.
Well, one thing about those Volvos is, like you said, they were over-engineered, just like mostly anything that comes out of that neck of the woods. So, it's bound to be tough. It's bound to be safe. And you guys are going to have one hell of a ride at the end of the day, I think.
I think so.
And it's got room for your friends.
Definitely. And I've always been a fan of four-door cars as well. So I think it's going to be a car for YouTubers, even though I'm personally going to be driving around. When we go to these events and I meet up with the other guys who built it or whatever, I'm sure they'll be driving it and all this other stuff. I don't care. So
you should make
it. And any other YouTuber that wants to come in and drive it, as long as I know about it, come on.
You should make just write YouTuber, but capitalize just Uber as part of it. So it's like the car for YouTubers. So it's like a ride share,
Lyft.
I don't know.
Well, we ended up naming the car, which I don't ever name cars myself, but we named it the LSV. So LS Volvo LSV is what it's going to be. The design we came up with it. I think I sent you guys some of the stuff, but it's kind of like the what's the core CTSV? We took that logo and did a spin on the LSV logo for it. So
that's cool.
Well, Curtis, we're getting ready to wrap up this episode of the Carrguy and Sixfan show. So I just wanted to make sure that we had the opportunity to thank you for being able to drop in on short notice. You were scheduled for next week, and just again due to a scheduling conflict. Our guest who is in the chat, Ken, thank you very much. Hopefully we can make that happen again next week for you guys. And thanks for being so accommodating, because we know that everyone's got a busy schedule. We knew that your schedule was busy. You had a lot of things going on, obviously, in April. And we wanted to try to accommodate that for you. And we're thankful that you were able to accommodate us.
Well, I appreciate, me finally getting a chance to get on here. You guys are so busy. I know you guys have plenty of people lined up, and I really appreciate you having me on and letting me talk and all that stuff. So it was nothing for me to switch, 1 week.
Well, we certainly enjoyed the conversation, Curtis. And with that, just a reminder for anybody joining us for the first time, if you're new to the Carrguy and Sixfan show, is a joint operation, so we bounce back and forth between our two channels. So with that, I'll let Jason kind of close this out.
Yeah, so next week we are back, excuse me, on my channel with our rescheduled guest of Spider Garage. So hopefully Ken and Nathaniel will be there with us next week. Hopefully we can make that work. And also keep in mind that the Get Out and Drive podcast, we are going to be recording this weekend. So hopefully we'll have some new episodes out to you guys very, very soon. Be sure to check that out. And once again, we will have those links in the comments after the show. So guys, thanks for joining us in the chat. Curtis, thanks again for being a part of the show. Grant, thanks for being a great partner and hosting it this week. So guys, stay focused on the windshield, not the rearview mirror. We will see you guys